Do I want to vlog? Do I not want to vlog? I'm not sure yet. What's up, everyone? Sunday of Thanksgiving weekend. Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. I know we did. It was very nice. Very nice. This vlog, as far as Scratch Babble is concerned, it's just been damn near impossible lately, either with schedule or with motivation in some ways to get a stinking vlog done. So let's start with Pillion. Pillion went to the Mayo Clinic for her 3-week boot camp. This started out, if you refer back to the psoriatic arthritis video, with being diagnosed with that. And then from that, she developed something called central sensitization syndrome, which I'll put a link into a video that explains it here, because it can do it much better than I ever will be able to. But the bottom line on that is, when she left, she was on crutches and a walker some of the time, and she came back under her own steam through the door. You're about to get a lot of sun right in your eyes, and I apologize. I thought it'd come down by the water, but it's a little late in the day, so we get a lot of glare. I'll turn around and head back in another direction. Sure is pretty though, isn't it? Holy shit, howdy. Sure is pretty. I was hoping to come sit by a... Let me see if I can do this. Get kind of a sunblock on my camera. There we go. Reserve parking, $250 fine. Well, as far as I'm concerned, it's reserved for me. So anyway, Brandon came back. She's doing pretty good, but and thank you to everyone who has asked about her and who has supported her and us through all of this. She's a badass. I love her so much because of her courage and her strength, and also because she keeps me on my toes and she makes me laugh. And she does all of those while she's hurting herself. So it's a constant, it's a daily thing for her, dealing with the pain that she's suffering from the central sensitization syndrome brought on by the psoriatic arthritis. And it's kind of almost like a mind over matter thing. And the short story is, basically, it's a nervous system illness where her nervous system is basically lying to the brain and saying, hey brain, we got a big problem over here, and the brain's saying, I got it. Brain sends the armed forces over. It starts battling an area that isn't really that big of an issue, so this sends out a lot more pain that is needed in certain areas, and a lot more sensitivity to certain areas than is needed. And that's what she's been battling. And part of the process, she had to come off all medications, all painkillers, so there's nothing like that. It's all truly retraining your brain to retrain the nervous system. So the nervous system says, brain, big problem, big problem, big problem. Well, if she doesn't react to it by giving into the pain or by taking something for it, the brain learns, oh, I'm not getting the usual pain response when I send the pain. There's no slowing down, there's no stopping, there's no taking of pills, so the brain makes a little note. The next time that the central nervous system sends an alert, the brain is a little more cautious about how much pain it sends. Incredible oversimplification of the whole process, and it's a long process, and it's never over. This is something she'll be dealing with all her life, but the successful part is that she is able to walk without crutches. She hopes to be able to go back to work sometime after the first year, if not full-time, part-time. She actually took on a little, and I'll put a link in here too, although she doesn't, it's all local. She's been doing baking and putting holiday baskets together with her baked goods, which are incredible, which is why I've been trying to lose weight. Only half kidding. and she made a little money over Thanksgiving for that, and disability was finally approved, but that won't kick in till February. So we're still a little anxious over the next couple months about about the bills and such between now and then. For my part, I've started a partnership. I'm just going to put it out there, and I know Brianna and others think I've been dragging my feet a little bit, but I'm going to be going into business with a buddy of mine, doing home inspections, and I intend to, at least for a while, to still do morning radio and the home inspections. But he's already got his license. He has put me through the course. Well, I've gone through the course. I just haven't gone for my license yet, but I finished the whole course in like 3 weeks. But then Brianna's first trip to Mayo came up, which had her out of town for a week, and then her second trip had her out of town for 4 weeks, and at the same time, it's our busiest time of year is the fall in radio. So we had a ton of station events, and so I hadn't tested yet. And really, what I'm about to start doing is crash coursing the whole course all over again. So that'll be fresh in my mind, and I want to take the test within the next 2 to 3 weeks so we can get to bringing some income in at the first of the year. So anyway, we have the business set up. My partner could actually start doing them now, but he's been working for a company that sells windows, doors and windows to builders, and we had a nasty, nasty hurricane close by last year, Michael, that hit the Panama City area. This was when he originally, just prior to that, approached me about starting this business, and I loved the idea. Michael hit, and boom, his business, the window and door business, took off like it hadn't been in 15, 20 years. So now, about a year later, a little over a year later, it's slowed down, and we're ready to crank up our own thing so we can become, masters of our own destiny. But so that's kind of the plan. But there's this period between now and the time we get going good on the inspections, because once I get my license, we have so many friends who are real estate agents, especially living in this area. And in business, he was in the window and door business, and me being in radio, we've met so many people, so many builders, so many real estate agents, so many mortgage bankers, that we have a ton of business lined up. People just saying, we're ready when you are. But we'll do the first few together, make sure we're all on the same page, make sure our software is working properly, make sure our drone skills are up to snuff. We intend to use some drone footage for inspections, and that'll be something I'll be able to bring to the channel later too. Things to help you with your home maintenance, things to help you with if you're buying a home, things that you should look for, and things that show up in a typical inspection. The name of the business is Dependable Home Inspections, and as I said, my partner could be doing them right now. He's just been waiting on me, although he doesn't need to. His business has been going good too. The final piece of update, and the other thing that has been slowing me down, is I've had a little health scare this year. It started several months ago and I believe I mentioned it in a blog, where I was having this crazy heart palpitations one weekend. And I went in and I waited the whole weekend like an idiot, but then I went to my doctor on Monday, and they sent me, he kind of acted like no big deal. He asked me about all these other symptoms, and I said, no. So he's like, well, because you're having so many of them, it was constant. I was having them, they just weren't going away, and it was that boom, 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 boom. So it was it would hold a beat, and then it would beat 4 times really fast just to get caught up. It was the oddest thing. And I've had it on and off all my life. But usually when it would happen, it would only last for, an instant, a moment. And I go, oh, what was that? And then I realized it was a palpitation. And then I wouldn't have one again for months or a year or whatever. So I don't know if I'm just noticing them more. Bottom line is they haven't gone completely away. If I say bottom line is one more time, everybody gets $1. They haven't completely gone away, and then they picked up a little bit a couple weeks ago in conjunction. I've been losing weight and walking for an hour every day. And I don't really feel, it's hard to explain. When I get the palpitations, I feel a little short of breath when I'm having the palpitation. But I don't know if that's another symptom or if that's anxiety, because my anxiety goes through the roof when this happens. And I was having a spell there when I started having these palpitations again. My allergies were kicking my ass. I understand. This is why I was hesitant about doing this vlog, because I'm either going to sound like the biggest hypochondriac or the most messed up person in the world by the end of it. But nonetheless, I was having all this trouble with my allergies and whatnot, where I wasn't breathing really good anyway. And there were a couple of nights in a row where I'd wake up feeling like I couldn't breathe. So I'd sit up, realize I could catch a breath, and then finally things would calm down and I'd lay down and go back to sleep. And as soon as I got to that point where I was almost dropping off to sleep, I'd feel like I couldn't breathe again. Thanks for putting your blinker on at the last second, ma'am. And so I was going through this like every single time I almost fell asleep again. 2 nights in a row. So that's when I made the decision to go to the doctor again, which I went last week. And he wasn't very attentive. I wouldn't say attentive. That's another long story. Let's just say it's a new doctor for me. And I just wasn't happy with his demeanor. How's that? I didn't expect him to hold my hand, but he basically acted like there was no problem, and I'm like, well, seems like a problem to me. So I did go to he sent me to the cardiologist. I had a halt to put on for 24 hours, and they were like, yep, you've got one. No big deal. I'm like, okay, well, I'm glad you think so, because prior to now, they've never been constant like this, but okay. You know, because I'm an idiot, like most people. You figure they know what they're talking about, but as time went on, when these things would go away and come back, go away and come back, and then my anxiety's ratcheting up, and then I have these nights where I feel like I'm not getting any air, and you know, is it COPD? And no, or is it anxiety, or is it the murmurs? I don't freaking know. So I also developed a urinary tract problem, TMI. Should have given you a TMI alert first. Something else I've got to get checked out. And then just yesterday, I'm laying on the couch, I'm watching the ball games, and I go to scratch myself, and under my rib cage, on kind of the rightish side of my high stomach, right below my rib cage, I notice, I wouldn't call it a lump necessarily, and I don't want to call it a mass, but it was Jesus Christ, were you going to stop, asshole? Just look at me the whole time. Where the hell was I? So anyway, I've got this irregularity under my skin. It's kind of oblong shape, maybe the size of a cocktail frank. Yeah, I can't really tell, but it shouldn't be there. And I don't remember having, you're walking down the middle of the road, walking your dog, and you're gonna look at me like I'm nuts? All right, you need to relax, Jim. Now that's something else I've got to deal with and find out what the hell that is. So more than anything, then there's been, you know, the kids aren't getting the attention that they deserve. Brianna's not getting the attention she deserves. It's just a never-ending cycle of, okay, can things please level out for a minute here? Now, of course, it's the holidays, and a little stressed about how we're going to pull off Christmas. And anyway, so 1 million people have it worse than I do. 1 million people have a lot worse problems than I do. And this is more, I guess, really, you would say, the unknown that's given me issues than the known. So, hopefully, in the next few weeks, everything will check out okay with the doc. I'll get my test done, get the business rolling without any major issues. Brianna will continue to improve, and we can put 2019 in the rearview mirror. Right. I'm just gonna try to concentrate on finding my way out of here now, because apparently you're not allowed to have a motor vehicle in this subdivision on roads because it interferes with dog walkers and other humans. So if there's anything to update about this vlog or my life in the not too distant, here's another one in the middle of the fucking road. I mean, you can't make this shit up. I will let you know. All right, guys, I'll probably talk to you before the holiday. Love you, mean it. If you're watching, thank you. If you're a regular, thank you. Thank you again to everyone who has been so supportive of Brianna. And I will start out from this traffic light in second gear. Goodbye.